Hey, and welcome back to Behind the Business Chat. Every business has a story, and I'm setting out to learn the stories behind some of Chattanooga's most loved businesses. This week I had the wonderful opportunity to speak with Carly, co-owner of Statemint Chattanooga and Statemint Cleveland. Statemint is a semi-annual consignment pop-up for adult clothing and accessories. This event promotes sustainable fashion as it helps sellers make money from pieces they no longer need, and buyers get a good deal on pieces that they love. Statemint also helps keep clothing and accessories out of the landfills, as well as supporting local nonprofits with their special charity sales. And another technical disclaimer here. Oh, I'm saying another because this is the first episode. You don't know about the other ones yet. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this, so please give me some grace. Just gonna put it at that. The day that I went to go film and record this podcast, I met at a place that I have not really been to before, and I'm not familiar with like the fancy podcasting equipment, microphones, all that stuff. Like we're keeping this simple, okay? And so I do have lav mics that I like to use, and I left them at home. And so I couldn't go and get them because it was far away from my home. And then I also parked far away from the location and realized I forgot my tripod. So thank you, Carly, for being patient, because she had to wait for me while I walked all the way like 3 blocks back to my car to go get my tripod, because I tried to make it work without it. No, we needed the tripod. And also, since I didn't have my mics, I needed the camera close so that the sound would be good. And I don't know, you let me know. I think the sound was actually turned out all right. But without further ado, I'm very excited to share this chat with you as we discuss more about the business and what goes into this local apparel shopping event. Now, let's meet Carly.
Hi, I'm Carly. I co-own Statemint Chattanooga and Statemint Cleveland with my sister Kendall.
So can you share what Statemint is, like, in a nutshell? Like, if someone were like,
yeah,
I've never heard of Statemint, what is that?
Okay, so it's a pop-up consignment event. I would call it more of an event than just a sale because it's really large. It is 4 days open to the public, and then we have a 5th day, our starter day, that is a pre-sale day where we partner with a nonprofit organization in Chattanooga or in Cleveland and donate the ticket proceeds to them. But it's a consignment sale, so people in the community can clean out their closets and they can sell up to 200 items of clothes, shoes, bags, accessories, jewelry, and it's just for like men and women's clothes. So where you normally see this kind of thing in a kid's sale, this is for adult clothing. So yeah, kind of quick synopsis.
So I know you guys were not the first to come up with Statemint. It is a franchise. Can you share more of the story behind how Statemint as a whole got started?
Yes, absolutely. Sarah McCaffrey started it in Knoxville, I think almost 12 years ago now. And the kind of heart behind it was she was adopting, and she was a school teacher, and if you know, adoption can be really expensive, and so they needed to earn some extra money. And it was just something that she's like, she already had 2 biological children, and so she was going to like kid consignment things and, you know, doing the things to save the money. And she was like, why do we not have this for adult clothing? And it makes almost even more sense now than it did then, because people cycle through clothing a lot faster than they used to, and they aren't wearing stuff like as long. And also, unfortunately, the quality of clothing has kind of gone down, and it kind of means you go for things a little faster, and we're all on a budget.
How long ago was it?
Almost 12 years ago. Okay. And then she's been franchising, I think, for just 3 years of it, though. So for a long time, it was just only in Knoxville for a really long time. And then she kind of thought, you know, other locations, and she, at that point, had been doing it for like 9 years and just knew all the ins and outs, and was like, I could help people bring this to other cities, because it is a lot of trial and error and learning, and it's very nice to have a foundation through her and through like their kind of mini corporate office that they made.
All their process, like they have everything down to like the handbook for the sellers, people who are wanting to sell stuff, and it's like
our logo,
there's stuff for you guys as well.
Yes,
like how to run it.
We had training. It's like a 6-week, once a week training program that we did. So it just really helped us out. So there's still a lot that you do on your own, but there's also a foundational background, which is helpful.
Right. So you can hit the ground running, basically.
Yeah.
And not have to, like you said, not having to trial and error everything. And
sometimes it's nice not having to make every decision too. Like, sure, maybe there's something I would do differently, but maybe not. And she's already trialed it, and that's so nice to know. Like, cool, this is like gonna work, or this is gonna be a good way to do it. So. So we've loved Sarah.
Because I'm sure you've come to her with other ideas and be like, hey, can we do this? And she's been like, oh, I've tried that and it didn't work.
Well, and she's also really open. Like, if we do, have like ideas to bring to her, and she's willing to do like trial things with like maybe one organization, like just one location, try it out and see if it's going to work. So, and things have been implemented that way too. So it's nice to be able to be so close to like the franchise owner and for them to really open up. Like some big franchises, I'm sure you don't actually speak to the owner, you're speaking to like someone this many levels down. So it's been great. So if you want to bring a statement to your area, message me and I'll give you information. So, because we're mostly in the Southeast right now, and there is like Indiana and then Iowa, but we're not really much further west yet.
Do you know how many locations there are?
30 something. I don't know the exact number because it just grew by a couple more. Like this year, like they just announced them. So I don't remember the exact number, but it's 30 something.
Yeah. So what made you and your sister Kendall interested in starting Statemint?
Yeah, this is so funny. So Kendall brought it to me when, I'm trying to think what year now that we signed up. I guess we signed up in the beginning of 2025. Because our first sale, Okay, so she brought it to me. We've always kind of like played around with the idea of working together, but my sister is a homeschool mom of 6. So she really can't have like her traditional 9 to 5. Like it's just not possible right now with the stage of life she's in. And I have another job that I enjoy. And this is kind of something, it does definitely take a lot of work and time, but it's something you can do. Like it's kind of like work, and then you get a little break from it. Unless you're like me and we buy 2 locations. And it's a little more work.
You say this is too easy.
Let's do it like 2 more times a year. Let's just spread the love. So she brought it to me as an idea and, I'm pretty like, let's do it. Let's give it a go. And I always loved fashion and I've always been an avid thrifter, especially in my home. But plus size thrifting is challenging out and about in the world. There's just a lot less available. And I do appreciate Statemint always has like at least a decent selection, and we always want to grow that. So if anyone has either just wants, if you're plus size, want to get rid of your clothes, or you've recently lost weight and you want to get rid of your clothes, please hit me up, because I would love for you to have your stuff at Statemint. I like being size inclusive is like a brand foundational thing, not just our location. So we're extra small through 4X. One thing that was kind of funny is I look back at my emails from Sarah when she was first messaging us and like sending us all the paperwork, and I had actually contacted her about Statemint in 2019 and had forgotten that I had done it. Didn't remember at all. Like I'd sent her an email because I think she maybe did a post, or she was tentatively thinking about franchising then, and then wound up not doing it for several years. And so I had gotten probably 3 or 4 emails from her. Some of them were like the automatic like updates on what she was doing. But I reached out right before I was getting married, and then I think I just felt like it was overwhelming with planning a wedding. It was very DIY, and I started a job in 2020. Like I just was like, never mind. And then I'd forgotten that I'd even had those conversations.
So many things happened.
I was busy. There was a pandemic. I mean,
That's true.
It was like my brain just went to mush, but it was so funny. I was like, this was really meant to be. Like I was already interested in this a long time ago. I just forgot. I know. So that's weird. I mean, kind of silly, but typical for my ADHD brain.
So really, it was Kendall's idea that she came to you first about it.
Because she'd been shopping and selling with, and my mom also in Knoxville have like, my mom's I think sold and like worked the sale almost since the beginning. So. Yeah, I'm so glad it's in Chattanooga.
Because your sister lives in Knoxville.
She does.
So she was there. She's there where the roots are.
Right. And I think originally, like that's what she was thinking was Knoxville area, but there was already a Knoxville and a West Knoxville. There's a Maryville. There's a Morristown, but some of those close to Knoxville areas were already taken. So Chattanooga just made the most sense because she's like, you're here. You've lived in Chattanooga for a very long time. I moved here in 2000, took a little 4-year hiatus into Nashville, but I've lived here the whole rest of the time. So it kind of feels like where my roots are. But yeah, she's in the home base area.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The Chattanooga sale, I think you said early 2025, I think even 24. So I'm trying to think, like,
I remember.
Our first, because
we're
in 2026 now.
It's 2026. Still January, so to me it's not. Like, is it 2026? Yes, 2024. We signed in like February, and then our first sale wasn't until October of that year.
Because it was the fall sale, and that's where I got the sweater.
I noticed that. I was like, I have to.
I'm like, Statemint. I have to wear my Statemint sweater.
I know.
Which has become the sweater because I love tigers, so it's got a full tiger on it. And including the back, like the back
it's
also
so
has like the
it's so fun. It's like it's a full tiger.
It's like I saw it on the rack there, and it was my impulse buy because I was like, I don't need another sweater, but I need this sweater.
Yeah, who doesn't need a tiger sweater?
Especially when you love tigers.
Exactly. I know, and the green's a good color.
Yeah, today I was like, what am I gonna wear today? Oh, duh, I know what I'm wearing.
Yeah, cigarette 2024. We just couldn't. We probably could have, but like doing a spring sale seemed overwhelming, so we went ahead and waited to the fall since. I think it was a good decision. So we're about to hit our 4th sale in March 25th through 28th are the public sale days, and that is going to be our 4th sale for Chattanooga, and then our 2nd sale for Cleveland is April 22nd through 25th.
And all this information will be in the notes below.
Yeah, don't
try
and listen to me, because it may be wrong. No, it's not.
You don't have to take notes.
I used to, our last sale, I kept getting the dates confused for Cleveland, and that's what's hard. I keep doing them like 1 month apart, and the dates are so similar, and so
you got people showing up in Cleveland immediately.
That's why we do have separate social medias for them. I was gonna combine them just to make my life a lot easier, but then I was afraid people would get confused. So we have separate ones just to keep it easy, because you know, at the heart of it, we're here for the community. So let's make it easy.
Right.
I'll just do extra work. It's fine.
That makes sense. Yeah. So the Cleveland sale that's coming up, that's the second one that you have for that location? Yeah. Okay. So what made you, what made you decide that you wanted to do Cleveland as well?
So Cleveland was going to be a location that they were going to put a statement in, like it was going to happen, whether it was us or potentially, you know, someone else. And my sister and I talked about literally buying 2 locations from the beginning, actually. And at the time it was a better, like, price point to do that, but my brother-in-law, the voice of reason, he was like, why don't y'all just do one and see? He's like, even though it's a price savings, let's make sure you love it. Make sure that you like working together. You know, I love my sister, but working together, you don't know. We've never done that. And it was all great, so we decided to do another one. And so Cleveland was an area they were like thinking about anyhow. And so
does Statement like corporate basically? So do they like pinpoint where they want locations?
They're doing that more so now than they did in the beginning. I feel like in the beginning people were contacting them and wanting to pull, but I think that still can happen. They just have a list of like cities I think they would ideally like to target. And like, you know, like I said, the Knoxville area, East Tennessee is probably full up. Like there's not going to be, there's enough, you know, in that area. And you wouldn't think necessarily Chattanooga and Cleveland would each need one, but Cleveland also hits like Athens. It hits like just some outskirts of people don't always like to come to Chattanooga, and ours has always been downtown.
Right.
Some people, that's not their jam, going to downtown Chattanooga, and I understand. So we actually had a really great turnout. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how it was going to be, just because it is slightly smaller, but like Lee students, they're not usually driving. Yeah. And so there being a college there was a big draw for me to do it in that location.
Because I feel like Cleveland's grown a lot. Like it's been growing for the last few years quite a bit.
It has, and so there's like new businesses and like cute things, and just I felt like I don't know, it just seemed like
a lot of residential and stuff. So like more people moving.
Yeah. Sometimes in Ottawa are more likely to drive to Cleveland than to downtown.
That makes sense, honestly.
Because it's the traffic.
You're right there on 75.
And there's no traffic going that way. It's like easy, really. So
but downtown. Going downtown from the interstate. I recommend.
Well, we're in Eastridge this year, which still traffic is kind of rough that way, but we're at a brand new venue called Venue 1921, and so it's bigger and free parking, so which is very important. Downtown can be tricky. We've always found places with parking, but we ran out of places with free parking, which is important to us. Free parking for our sellers and shoppers, and larger. We needed more space. So.
You keep outgrowing the space
very quickly.
So
very quickly. I feel like our very first sale was okay, and then the second one was we were crammed in there, and then even our third one. We were pretty tight, so
because you're like, oh, it's a bigger venue. I'm like, oh, this will be perfect, and then
you have no more room.
Oh my goodness, even this is full.
So this is 3,000 square feet bigger. So fingers crossed that that'll give us because we really want to be mom friendly too. Like, I mean, we love our college students, but we love our moms, and it's been hard for them to bring strollers, and we want them to be able to like bring their stroller. You need to bring your kids, of course. I mean, you know, so we're trying to make it more accessible all the way around.
And the aisles like that. That's what they were last time.
They were so close.
Like, oh my goodness.
And you have like a big bag, like we have bags at the door that you can borrow while you're shopping. Honestly, like carts and wheeling things almost work better because your shoulder gets tired. I will put my bag, I'll load it up and like shove it on the floor with my feet. But they're so big that you're like hitting bag to bag. And so even though we had like, if you're one person, decent space, but 2 big bags, it felt squished. So we're excited to be in a new spot, bigger.
If you don't mind me asking, how has it been like success rate? Like, can you give numbers on like, just rough numbers on like?
Gosh, I wish I'd known because I can't.
Articles of clothing that have come in versus articles that didn't sell, that sort of thing.
I haven't looked those up in a little bit, and we can normally get more numbers like general across the board for a statement than like specific location. But I'm trying to think. We had close to 19,000 items last time, and I think we sell probably, this is really a guess because I haven't looked, but like 50 to 60%, which is a pretty good sell-through rate, really.
Yeah.
And then,
especially when you're talking an event that's not even a full week.
Right, it's like 4 days, 4.5 days. Like literally, because even on that Tuesday pre-sale, it's only from 4 to 8. So it's 4.5, and Saturday's not a full day. So it's not very long. So we sell, and I think that's like the cool thing about it is that because it is an event, people are excited.
It doesn't turn into like, oh, this new store opened up, I'll go there eventually.
Yeah, this is
it's like, oh, I have to put this on my calendar because it's happening this day, and if I'm not there, I'm gonna
I'll miss it altogether. And so I think that's why it's so successful for our sellers. I can tell you, our sellers, the average, now granted this means some people might be getting a seller check for $3,000. That has happened.
Because you also sell designer stuff.
Yes.
People are welcome to bring designer brands, and they have like a whole separate section for that. If there is designer stuff.
We've had like Louis Vuittons, I'm probably saying that wrong, you know, like Dior sunglasses, Coach handbags. I had one like Louis Vuitton bag that was sold. Our top price is $500 though. We don't let things be priced higher than that. So it works for some designer stuff, some stuff no. It just depends on, you know, the price point or what you're willing to sell it, you know, for. But on average, our sellers make $400. That's the average like seller like return. So, but
because not everybody's bringing designer stuff.
No, and not everyone. Those numbers get skewed because some people, our minimum amount that you can sell is 15, and our max has always been 300. Now it's 200. 200 items we went down, so that may change some of the numbers too. But I honestly think you'll sell more stuff than when you bring 300 items because you're going to bring your best stuff. And some of those things, they're maybe not for statement, like you should donate certain things, like we are trying to pick like, you know, really clean, not super worn, like, no, we do take vintage stuff, but it needs to be like in style vintage, you know, like, but in style is very subjective. So we are not we're not crazy about it. But if
you're like, oh, this is ugly.
No, but if there's like snags and rips and like, you know, it has to be in really good condition. That's the main thing. Laundered, you know, doesn't have dog fur all over it, like everything in my house. I feel like I was gonna tell you something else and I got on a tangent about what we take, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, I was saying the minimum is 15 items, and some people literally only are 15 to 20 items. So that changes our seller check percentage. Yeah. So the fact that our average is 400 is really good, considering the fact some people are only bringing like 20 items. That really skews us down, you know.
Yeah. And if you figure you're gonna sell 50 to 60% of what you bring in, if you're only selling, so at minimum you're selling like maybe 7 items.
I will say the people that bring less items have a higher sell-through rate typically because they're bringing their best stuff. Yeah. I mean, their sell-through rates tend to be like 80-90%. So I think that's part of why we lowered the number. I think that's going to be, I'm sure some people will be a little disappointed because they wanted, but we had so few people bring the 300. It was like maybe 5 to 10 people out of our 200 sellers.
There's probably people that do that full time, that they thrift flip it, I guess is what you call
some
it.
Some people do that. Yeah, some of our sellers are resellers, and then some are cleaning out their closet. It just depends. I'm helping clean out this lady's closet right now. Just kind of happened by happenstance, but she was 75. She collected a lot of clothing. She had probably 7, 8 clothing rolling racks full of clothes. And so some people do really collect clothes like that. So they have a lot that some people like, I feel like especially again during, not to bring the pandemic up again, but people were online shopping a lot. And I've had people right after that be like, I was sad, I couldn't do anything, it wasn't working, but I still had money, you know, like, so they were like, I bought so much stuff and I don't need all of this. And that's the thing I think people are leaning into a little bit is I don't need this much stuff, and I should, and keeps your house easier to clean when you don't have so much. And so a lot of purging going on, especially in the new year. I thought it's a great time for people to be like, let's get rid of it.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's caffeine.
I was just trying to process where I want to go from here.
I know, I can't believe you remember all your questions. They're not on a list, guys. These are all in her brain, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, I do have a list on my phone, but I only referenced it once.
I know. I'd be like, what have I asked? Because Carly rambled for 10 minutes. I don't remember what I even said. What question did we start at and where did I? They're not the same.
But no, that's why I try to make it more of a conversation. Because when you have a conversation with somebody, you're not like, What's your
Yeah.
name? So I just try to make it more natural of like, okay, me being the inquisitive side, what would I ask next?
What
so
would I-
like that question I just asked you about the numbers, I just came up
Yes,
with that.
I know.
Like,
Because I was like,
not
I
on my
didn't know
list.
about that one, so I don't have those
Because it's
down.
just like, that's where my brain went.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what?
Yeah, but it has
so
been
it's not
good. We've
things.
grown each sale. Like we've grown how many sellers we take each sale, and then we've grown by like how much clothing there is each time. From our first to our second sale was crazy. Our numbers doubled. Like our clothing amount doubled, and we did not anticipate that. That's why we're at the same venue for the second year, which they were wonderful to work with, but we did not know how much stuff we were gonna have. No, that's not necessarily normal to like double from one to the next. So, which is good. I think that means people shop the event, they enjoyed the event, and they're like, I want to do this. So, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been great to see your success with it too, because it's like, I would be nervous to something like that with like all the marketing that you have to put into it. If the marketing fails, then the event's gonna fail, basically. This is like, you have to get the word out. It's not like someone driving down the street and sees it unless they see it the day of, because there's only a few days.
Yeah,
so.
it's a lot. There's a lot of upfront costs involved in time and effort and work. And it's more, I think people, if you haven't thrown a big event before, like, people are like, oh, you just have to work 4 weeks a year. And I'm like, I'm working for several months before each event, and then now with two and the way they're spread out, I'm like, mostly after the fall, I can probably take about 2 months where I don't have to do anything fully statement. But the rest of the year, I'm working on statement stuff in some way or another. Whether it's just community like outreach and getting to know people and networking, or if it's trying to secure some things to do giveaways, or if we want to do grab bags, like all of those things take constant communication. So
lots of outreach and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you talk about social media side. Social media is like a full-time job in
yeah.
itself too.
No, you see those like reels or TikToks where they're like, I was gonna have to be a content creator to do my job, like with photography or all that stuff. I'm like, oh, we now have to all also be a content creator, which isn't necessarily my strength. And so now having 2 TikToks and 2 Instagrams, it's just a lot of like, look at me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to post. Please just come.
You guys have done a really good job with your stuff though,
Thanks.
like, because you've hit like a lot of trends and stuff. Like I've seen that, like, I'm like, oh, that's great.
We try. We do try. It's easier when Kendall and I get to be together to do all. It's definitely harder when it's just.
Bounce off each other.
We do. We always laugh and have a good time, but when it's just me, it's a little harder because I'm like, well, set up this tripod and try and record myself. And
Let me just awkwardly stand here.
yeah, it doesn't feel as natural as it does like talking or interacting with another person. I've recently had a few friends say that they would be willing to like help me film some content. I hate asking for stuff. Help.
And it's also awkward to ask, especially when you're having to film people. Like, it's so awkward to be like, hey, do you want to be in my YouTube video?
I know.
Like, no.
Then at the sale, like where you're, asking people like, hey, do you want to do it? And some of them are definitely do not want to. I think some enjoy it, and some will do it like begrudgingly. Right. Because I get it. It's not natural. People ask me if I get nervous, and I'm like, honestly, not really anymore. I think because I've had to do so many live TV, and I'm like, I can delete this and re-record. That's no big deal. Like the live TV is still where I get a little nervous. Just if they throw out a question, kind of like again like that I wasn't prepped at all for. I'm like, oh, I don't know the answer, and now I feel dumb. So
I know I look like an idiot.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know anything.
But yeah, and it's also about like personality. Like my personality is more of a behind the scenes person, so it's really ironic that I do all this stuff.
It is
I'm like,
funny,
every single thing I do is so out of my comfort zone.
Oh,
like,
that's good. Good for you.
It is, but also like it's very difficult because then I also don't see the success rate that a lot of my peers do because they have the right personality for it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that I'm like the trends and stuff they get. I'm like, I would never post those because
it feels
that
cringy
is not
to you,
me.
right?
Like,
yeah,
that's not my
some
personality.
of them feels cringy to me too, but they're cute and they're fun. I will sometimes see other people though and be like, oh my god, they're adorable doing that. I feel kind of silly. And so I feel like my personality is mixed. Like I'm a little. Yeah. I've always called it like I'm an extrovert introvert. Like I'm more introverted really in the fact that all the social stuff can be, sometimes a little draining and like, but I enjoy it in the moment. Yeah. Like true extroverts don't get like tired by that kind of social. Yeah. And I do get like kind of drained from that. Like the week after a statement is.
Don't talk to me.
I know. I'm like, but there's always still like back end stuff to do. And then now with doing 2, I'm like, well, some of the locations own more than a few other girls own more than one, and her sales are 2 weeks apart. And I don't know if that's easier because you're just rolling, like you're just going, you stay on.
I
And
feel
then
like
you
that'd
get,
be way more stressful. I mean,
to me, it feels more stressful.
I don't know
so.
what happens behind the scenes week to week, you know, after a sale or whatever, but I would assume there's a lot.
I know, I'm very impressed by her. So part of me feels like, is it easier because you get to stay in statement mode instead of like kind of coming out of it and going back into
and then
it?
having to ramp back up.
Yeah, or for me, I like the month apart, but who knows? We've only been doing the 2-sale thing for one season so far, so we'll see.
And you can always change it. How do they do that? How do they do like the dates? Because I know like on Statement's like main website, corporate website, they've got like all their different locations and they have them all spaced out so that there's like no overlap. So like you could shop like basically on sales.
No, there's definitely overlaps. Ours is the same as like 3 or 4 other sales. So the only thing is like certain ones that are within a certain distance from each other can't overlap. But I really think it may only be from the main location in like West Knoxville. I feel like everyone else is allowed to just have whatever dates they want, just because they're both technically in Knoxville.
Right.
There's no other sales that are technically in the same city. They may be like, you know, Cleveland and Chattanooga aren't the same city, even though we're pretty close.
And there's what, like Nashville and Franklin?
There's Nashville, Franklin, Lebanon, Marietta, Georgia.
So you've got
Athens,
like,
I mean, there's a ton.
You've got like the main city and then you got like the surrounding suburbs that have their own as well.
So we can, I think we could overlap. It's nice to not like, the ones are the closest. We don't have it. Cleveland is obviously the closest, and then there is one actually in Athens, Tennessee area, which, and there was one, Katie owns that one. She owns that one in Sweetwater, and those are pretty close to each other. Like those are kind of.
So how do you guys? So there's not like a set like you have to have one of these dates or whatever. Like how do you guys kind of communicate that so that? Because you don't want to overlap with those closest to you.
Sometimes it just happens. We were at the same time as Athens. We both had picked our dates because we both signed up for our second location at the same time. I don't know that either of us even knew that the other person was doing a second location, even though we are friends and do talk. But it's just, you know, you make business decisions and don't always like share those until they're like solidified. And so ours were the same week. We're going to try to not do that again, but we base ours on, we like to not be during spring break in the county that we're in because a lot of people travel for spring break. And then there's like a lot of other holidays. And then there's my sister who homeschools in a different county and city. So her breaks are different than our breaks. And so there's just a lot we have for Chattanooga, it feels like there's 1 week in the spring and 1 week in the fall that work. And that's it. So and that's been a little tricky, but we're making it work. And we are, locked into our fall date already for Chattanooga and locked into our fall date already for Cleveland, which is the first time we have been planned out that far in advance, which feels so good.
Like, I was going to say, like, how early do you have to lock in your date?
There's not like at least you would have to be locked in, I would say 3 months before, because you're supposed to open registration like 2 months before. You would need to know, you know.
But I was thinking for like marketing purposes, like especially like I said, if different websites have the dates on the
I would say, and sometimes they're just TBD until she likes to have them before, like she likes to have the whole spring season before January, because there's one sale that starts in January, so she likes to be able to have it all printed out. But I guess if you didn't know it yet or something came up, it would just have to say TBD on there and your date wouldn't be on the poster per se.
Right.
Oh, that's okay. You know.
So it's really more left up to the owners of the particular locations as to like what dates.
Because the goal of the business is that it's not something even though I work at like a lot of what I do can be done remotely. It's not supposed to be something that you can't do with another job, or you can't, you know, have all these other things going on. So she lets us, you know, select what works for us as a business owner, you know, per date.
So you kept outgrowing your spaces and everything, and now we've got like a new venue for this year and everything. And then of course you started Cleveland. Are there any other new like things in the works or expansions or anything? I feel like Statement, there's not really. When I usually ask this question, it's like other businesses that have like where they have avenues of other ways they can grow and do different things.
They're probably also like full-time businesses. Like ours it is set up as a twice-a-year sale. We can't add any sales. Like that's what it is. Like I couldn't do. Sometimes we're like, can you do 3 sales? Like they want like a kind of like a spring one, a summer, and a winter. That's not something that we can change. And I think that's kind of the point, though. It's again supposed to be something you can do while keeping another job, or being a stay-at-home mom, or being a homeschooling mom. Like it's not supposed to take over your life, you know, unless you open multiple locations. But that is a choice. That is not something you have to do. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot, and because it is a franchise, like there's certain like there are certain things that we can and can't do. I thought about like trying to do like a clothing swap or something also. Like I wish I could do it with at the end of Statement, because we donate the clothes if the seller wants to. If they want their clothes back, they can have all their clothes back. But if they don't want them and they just want to be done with it because they're like, get it out of my house, we donate to local and only local nonprofits in the area. So, but it would kind of be fun to do a little clothing swap too, but we just don't have the venue long enough to ever really make that happen, and it's just not part of like Statement. So we can do, I could do that on my own, but it wouldn't be a Statement thing.
So you have to be mindful of what you're putting the Statement's name on.
Correct. Yeah. But we get things approved, again, we can like submit and get it approved potentially, but there's, we don't have full control of everything, which again, with the support we have, that is fine by me. I don't need full control really. It helps actually with making certain decisions because there are some limitations. And again, being a little ADHD, I think it's good for me to not have every possibility out there. We have a lot that we can do and a lot of freedom, but I kind of like that there's a few parameters. Just keep me real bit. I have lots of ideas otherwise. And not a lot of like ability to follow through with all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also some of them just might not be worthwhile even pursuing.
Correct. Yeah. You just get yourself too bogged down sometimes. So, so there's not really, I guess, a lot as far as, I think 2 locations will probably be what we stop with. I don't know. Maybe we could do a 3rd. There's one girl that owns 3. No, 2. There's another sister duo. There's one other sister duo, and they own 3. And then there's one girl, like her and her husband own 3. And then a couple of people own 2. So I don't know if I could. 3 seems like a lot. I would definitely have to quit some
and where
jobs.
would the other location be at that point?
I don't know. I mean, I have an idea, but I'm not.
Yeah. You already have thought.
I have 2. Oh yeah, for sure. I've thought about it. I have two places. One would make more sense because it's closer, and then one would be a little bit of a bigger city. But I just don't know. It's like a couple hours away. I don't know if I'm willing. Like that just seems like a lot to try to do. So but I have to quit other jobs for sure. There's no way I could do 3 with my current.
But especially if you're talking like another city that's like a couple hours away, because then it's like
it's a whole different ballgame. I haven't done that yet. Even Cleveland was like felt far for driving like back and forth and stuff. Like at the end of the night when you're tired. So
Which I guess you don't have to be at the location. What do you? I guess it's just the week of, right? That you're at the actual location.
Oh yeah. It's a full
week.
week.
So everything else is basically remote, like you were saying.
Yeah, so it's not that terrible. And you would just rent a space. Like that would just become a cost of doing business. Would be staying. If it was in another city, especially. But there's one girl, she owns 2 that are not in her. She doesn't live there at all. She lives in Knoxville, and she owns 2 outside of Knoxville. So that's what I'm saying. If anyone's interested and they love it, like, and you want to open one, like, not right in this area, there's definitely potential for that. There's not any in Alabama, which is one area I've thought about, but it's okay if you do it, because I probably should only do 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential in Alabama. I can see them having multiple.
Yeah, agreed.
Sure.
Yeah. I think so too. Memphis, I feel like Memphis needs one for sure. That's too far for me for driving. That's substantially far. But someone that lives there, or even in Nashville, could do one there. Because it's not that far for them. Anyway, I know. I want there to be more. I want to like travel to more of them. I'm excited to see some on the West Coast and kind of see, because each location kind of brings in different types of clothing. Like the Franklin sale versus our sale. Like there's way more designer items at the Franklin sale than we get.
Which makes sense.
Chattanooga's a little more cash. We're just kind of a casual city.
Yeah. But also Franklin is known, or at least what I know Franklin to be, is the most bougie part of. It's like bougiest neighborhood in Nashville.
It's the highest like money, like income ratio.
It's like that's where all the country singers live.
Yes, yeah. Which I don't think they're consigning a statement, but there's
all the celebs actually live in Franklin. They don't live in Nashville. They live in Franklin.
But honestly, their assistants could be like consigning for them. I don't think Do I think Taylor Swift is consigning a statement? Probably not. Definitely don't think so. But it'd be cool if she did. She's like. Seems pretty down to earth. I could almost see her doing that if she wasn't so busy.
Right.
So. She's a very girl.
But yeah, I can see how like you got different, even just from city to city being different, and then and also you guys travel and go to all the different sales.
I go to a bunch, as many as I can fit in, in a year. Yeah, all having other job thing kind of limits it a little bit, but I went to the Franklin one with my sister. We drove there and back in the same day, and from Knoxville it's like that was 6 hours in the car. But my niece just turned 14 and she really wanted to go, and we had a great time. It was fun. Yeah, that was fun. That was my first time getting to go to the Franklin sale. And Maryville, Sevierville, Asheville. Yeah, I've been to all of those. So I try and pick like a new one that I haven't been to. Oh, Athens. No, I haven't done Athens, but I did the Sweetwater, like McMinn. So I try to go to a different, like try to add one new one each year to get to go to.
So you can, you guys should have cards where you can collect, like say I've been to this.
We did like freaking like punch cards. Yeah. They were like shopping card things, and then they just got sent in, and the person like was able to win $500. So they live drew that like a couple weeks ago, and somebody won, which was fun.
So that was statement wide, right?
That was statement wide. So you could shop at any statement. I don't think we're doing them again, just because it was pricey. I guess it was just kind of like an expensive program to put on, and it was hard for some. I mean, most people aren't traveling all over. Yeah. It was easier for the people in the Knoxville area because they were more close together than Yeah,
because I remember getting the card. For those of you who don't know, basically there was, when you shopped a statement sale, I guess it was last year, just all of them, or was it just the fall sales?
It was I feel like we got them in the spring of last year, so it was spring and fall.
I don't remember, maybe I missed the spring sale last year. So basically like a little business card where it was like, if you shopped at like, I think it was 3 sales, you got like a little stamp, and then if you shop 3 different statement sales that year, you could ship the mail in.
You actually didn't even have to shop different sales. It was just like each day that you shop. So you could have come to our sale 3 days in a row and gotten a stamp. Okay. So
maybe I just forgot that.
But you could go to other sales too. That was part of it. So which was fun because people do travel like a couple hours, which is I think one of the things I think is so cool is that people will travel, or we've had girls from Nashville like do their sale and then sign up for our sale too, and like drive and sell their stuff. It seems like such a trick, but I love that they do it because it's just really fun. I don't know, it kind of gets I feel like we get little like, not groupies, I mean like in a nice way, like statement, like but, like people that just really love it, and I think that's really fun. I think that
a really strong fan base.
Yes, and I do have a couple Knoxville people that are coming to our sale and selling. And that's really just fun to see. And some of them have been working like Sarah's Knoxville sale for 5, 6, 7 years, and then kind of traveling to Chattanooga. It's just been really fun to like see that growth and just that commitment to and that they love it. And I love that people love it because it means so much to us, and the community aspect is so important to me. And trying to get out there more, meet more people. I've lived in Chattanooga for so long. I've always just worked until this last few years, kind of like regular jobs out of business. I wasn't necessarily needing to do a lot of community outreach or get as involved as I would like to be.
Right.
So I'm trying to get involved in other things too. Like I think it would be fun to be on a board for an organization, or I'm trying to do more like volunteering and just stuff that I have time to do in general.
And then like another thing about Statement that I feel like maybe doesn't get advertised as much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know, but working for the sale. So how I did the last round was, you don't even have to sell anything there. You can actually, they will hire you for the few hours or whatever. There's different hour shifts throughout the different days for like, so I worked one of the days that people were bringing stuff in. So like the sellers bring in their clothes and everything, and then you can help like put it out on the racks where it needs to be, help check them in and everything like that. And it's a fun little job just because it is just like a few hours a day, and it's not like a full-time thing.
It's high energy, so I feel like it's a fun like environment to be in. You're not gonna be bored. You're gonna have something to do. If you're working like out on the floor, you can totally shop while you're working too. I mean, don't only shop, but you can totally like put stuff in the back. We just ask that you definitely buy it at the end. Don't hold anything and then not buy it. We could not do Statement without workers, though. There's no way that me and Kendall could run.
Yeah, like you said, 19,000 items.
Correct, and we'll have more probably. Well, maybe not because we've lowered the number, but we are taking a few more sellers. So I don't know how that'll.
That, and you've also got a bigger space.
Yeah. So, but it's a lot. I mean, even if it's just 19,000 items, it's a ton of clothes. But yes,
could you imagine doing that by yourself?
It would take 4 days to set up instead of 2. So yes, we have workers that we pay you to work. Some sales are, I know, out there. Not Statement, we're all the same, we pay our workers. Some give you like a higher percentage if you're selling, and that's how. Some only allow people if they're selling to work. That's our preference, is that you are a seller, just because I think that really helps you appreciate and understand why we ask for some of the things we do, because we do like things have to be secured a certain way. You have to use wire hangers. We just have certain parameters. And sometimes people don't understand that, and then you work And they're like, oh, I get it. I get why you ask us to do that. I kind of thought it was annoying, but actually it totally makes sense because the clothes fall on the floor otherwise, or there's not enough, the hangers don't glide unless they're wire. There's just reasons that we do everything. And if you're a seller, but especially if we know you, we don't care if you're a seller or not. Like, it's just nice to have that extra help. We don't always hire people if we don't know them at all, just because even though we don't know our sellers, but we feel like we're getting to know them and building that community as part of it. But if someone really wants to work, sure, like, let us know. And we take, like, if anyone has kids that need to volunteer, you have to be at least 16. But I know some schools, like my friend's daughter volunteered for us because they have to have volunteer hours. And we're working with a nonprofit. So the nonprofit, you're helping set up for the nonprofit event, like you can still get volunteer hours, like signed off on, because we do work with multiple nonprofits. So since we're not a nonprofit, so we can't sign off on them, but they will and can, as long as you're helping like with certain aspects of it. So I know certain colleges and schools need volunteer hours, so we'll always take some help. Like, we need it. I know I'm looking now and I'm like, how many shifts do we still have open? And certain ones are not during the sale too. Like, we need people to help put out flyers like around town. The first 2 years I did it myself and Kendall came in, so that is not doable. Like, I can't do everything. And then also putting like yard signs, like we buy those like little yard signs to help advertise. We need help like getting those out and like picked up, like, and people just canvassing certain areas. I think we're gonna buy more. And then we've learned if people help, if they put them out, but they don't also pick them up, we don't know where they are.
That is true.
We're signing up for both. You're signing, but you can get double the hours for it, for picking, but you have to pick them up too.
We're not adding a fun game at the end of where is this?
No, because we've done that once where they just sent us the list and I was like, no, I can't do that either. I'm too tired at the end of the sale. And my brain is not fully functioning at that point. I'm like,
that's funny. I guess we'll go ahead and go to our digging deeper segment.
Okay.
The questions that you thought long and hard on how to answer.
I did not prep that.
Can you share a favorite memory during the process of building the business?
Yeah. Oh, in building the business, not like during the actual sale?
No, that's the next question.
Okay.
Basically.
I'm trying to think of like building the business. Honestly, yes, because we...
just kind of like thinking back to the beginning, like when you're first starting out sort of thing.
I think it was like getting to know people in the community that were also excited about it. Like, they're excited that we were bringing Statement. They were behind the idea. They thought it was fun too. Seeing people's excitement was like, okay, we're doing the right thing. Like, it was such a good decision to do this. A lot of it was very on our own. So building the business, you know, like there's definitely things that weren't my favorite, like figuring out business licenses and anything that's like that kind of background, anything with money is not how my brain works. I'm way more creative and social. Like, I love sale week, and like I said, it is draining at the end, but I love it. I love talking to people. I love all of that. So the actual setup though, I mean, I enjoyed the training, like getting to like learn how things worked. Getting to know the other Statement owners is probably honestly my favorite so far. We have all built such like a close community and getting to know each other.
And then doesn't Statement do like a retreat sort of thing or something for all you guys?
Yeah, it's like kind of like a business conference, but the first one was out of town and it was like far, like in Joshua Tree. Like, it was amazing. But it was a lot of like work content, but it was almost like a trip / work content. This past year's was in Knoxville at the like corporate office. We can't do a trip every year. Like, that'll be, you know, like that's not always going to be a thing, but that was amazing. And that's how I really felt like I got close to everybody. Like, I've met a lot of people and had kind of been forming, you know, some bonds, but really getting to stay together, like hiking in the desert, you know, that kind of thing. Doing like, you know, manifesting, all the things, like working together has been great. And now we're kind of like in little groups where, because there's so many of us as we're growing, it used to be all like just chat in one chat, but that's kind of overwhelming. So now we've broken into like groups of 10, and that's kind of your little squad to like, I mean, you can still talk to anyone, you're friends with them, but that's just kind of like, here's your focus group chat, you know, to kind of like build and brainstorm with each other. So that, I do think that relationships is my favorite part of like setting everything up. It's also my favorite part of the other part, so I'll delve into that more. But I do think like for me it's just the relationships, and I do like creating like our graphics and Canva and stuff like that. Anything that's the creative part is what I'm enjoying, and the people part. The other stuff like spreadsheets, not my jam, but we gotta do it. Right. I feel like the computer software, like the program that we use on the seller side is very user friendly to like input stuff. It's a little more complicated on the back end. And I also am really proud of myself for like figuring that out and like how to do it, because it was hard for me, and I think for a lot of other women said it was hard. Some of them, their husbands helped them, but I did it on my own because it's my business and I wanted to know how to do it. I mean, I love his help, but I wanted to know how to do it, and so I think also just being a little proud of some of the things that we accomplished. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I was gonna be able to do that. That was really hard. So it's nice to like stretch yourself to grow.
Yeah, I was like, with this stuff that I do.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started my blog, I actually bought the domain name. Like, I'm not hosting, like, it's not like some other website, like hosting website. It's actually mine.
Oh, wow.
And I remember doing that and not thinking too much of it, but like, yeah, learning how to do that wasn't too difficult because there's software out there to help you with that stuff now. So like, I don't have to know how to code to do my website.
Yeah, I could never.
But so like, I just did the research and figured it out and everything and did it. And I remember like having my website for like maybe a few months or whatever. And then like, I think it clicked for my dad. He was like, wait, this is your website? Like, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I didn't know you actually, like, you paid for that. And I'm like, yeah, it actually costs money. So,
yes, I know, all of those things. So, yeah, I know. You just kind of feel like, oh, I'm doing this.
Yeah. It adds a level of commitment. That's what they always say. Like, you know, if you want to start something, like, especially business related or whatever, once you put money in, like, you're gonna be more committed to it.
Correct.
And be like, okay, I have to do this thing.
Yeah.
I got skin in the game now.
Yeah, you got a financial commitment. You definitely have to.
Yeah.
You gotta make this work.
So then the other digging deeper question: what is your favorite part of your job? It could be like behind the scenes task or anything.
Yeah, I think my favorite part is what Statement is actually bringing to the community. Like, I feel good about it. Yes, it's a business, and yes, we make money. And I mean, I couldn't afford to do the amount of time that I put into it if we weren't making money. But what I like the most is that we are helping women and men, because we take both, but most of our sellers are women in our community by cleaning out their closets, getting that clutter out, having a comfortable living space when you don't have too much stuff, making some extra money on your clothes. That partnership, we're also helping some women, you know, again with working shifts like you talked about. That little bit of extra money for the week can really help somebody out. And there's not a lot of temporary jobs you can do out there, you know, like there's not a lot you can pick up temp without a certain set of skills. Like, this doesn't take any special skill set. Like, it's just, we give you everything you need to do, and you're just, you know, there for 4 hours, maybe several days a week. And so being able to like help women is really important to us. Being size inclusive is one of my favorite things. But just like the community, the people, I actually, like a lot of our sellers, like I'm friends with now. I care about their getting married and their kids and their dogs and their lives, and like just making those connections, and them becoming friends with each other, like sellers getting to meet each other, becoming friends. It's so cute. Like, we have one like position where you're helping like check out the clothes, so they're like going through them, counting them, making sure that we get everything rung in so that, you know, our seller gets paid for the items. But sometimes I'm like, that's my sweater she's buying, and they're so excited, and I am too. So fun to see your stuff going through and being purchased. You know, it's not going to a landfill. You know, it's not being donated, and like half that stuff doesn't even get sold. Like, so while we do partner with local like nonprofits that have like thrift stores, and they do so much in the community with that money, we're helping keep, like, sometimes they get too much stuff, they get overrun, so this really helps like do that circular fashion. And so there's so many things about Statement I love, but one of like, I think a standout memory was our first sale. A lady came on half off day with her mom. She'd recently lost, I think, a very significant amount of weight and needed to replenish her wardrobe. Like, she had nothing that fit, basically. She spent probably 4 hours there shopping. It was probably our biggest like sale still that we've made, like to an amount at a time. She bought 61 items for a still of a deal. Almost all of them, except for maybe 2, were like on half off day. Oh, yeah. Which Saturday the sellers can choose if they want to mark their stuff for half off, so everything's 50% off. But then again, it's up to the seller. So getting to see her like replenish a wardrobe for under $2,000 is crazy, you know. So that's probably a really favorite moment. A girl, I think, bought a dress that she was gonna wear, and she got engaged in it later. Like, I just the stories and the people, I guess, is definitely my favorite part. So I enjoy Sell Week so much. Yeah. That is so fun for me to get to meet everybody and like see all those connections. And we had a vendor, and vendor, we can talk about vendors, that's like a whole separate thing, but we had a vendor that came. She has artwork that she puts in vintage frames. She prints these like, beautiful pieces out and put like all secondhand frames. So it really went hand in hand kind of with our business model. She was there and she met my friend Paige. She's an attorney, but they met and Jessica was able to do the artwork in their entire office. So while maybe she didn't sell a ton of art there, she made this really amazing connection that was like so good, for her and her business and just like women supporting women. So that was another really cool one. I don't know, there's so many. I feel like I could talk about that part of it forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So many good things. It's hard to pick like one favorite.
Oh yeah, I don't have one. There's not one. There's so many. But I mean, if you boil it down, it's the people and the connections, like, to the heart of it.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Because that's pretty much everything that I've got. So, like, is there anything else that you want to add about Statemint, or just do you have a closing statement for Statemint?
You guys, we are 70% full for Chattanooga. So if you're interested in being a seller, I don't know if this will get aired.
Yeah, I don't know when it's gonna air. It's gonna be higher percentage than that by the time it's aired. Like
yeah. So we may not have any spots then. Cleveland, we probably definitely will still have spots because we're not opening that until February 9th, I think. So you will definitely be able to register for that one because we are in a new space there too that's larger. We just haven't announced where yet. We're doing that next week. Okay. So that's also a new space.
And all this information, all the links and everything will be below.
Yeah, and updated probably information at that point when she actually posts it. You can update like what's happening and the right dates. But come out and shop and know that you're supporting women in your community. And it's not like, sometimes people think that we have sourced all the clothing, which I don't know. I mean, that would be crazy to be able to do. I don't know where I would keep 19,000 items of clothing. I guess I'd have to have like multiple storage units. And it's fine that they think that. It's just always funny. Like to me, I'm like, goodness.
Like if you only knew.
I cannot even imagine how I live in a very small ranch style house.
I feel flattered.
Yes, I know that I did all this. Thank you. I mean, we can't do it without our sellers either. So, but yeah, definitely come out and shop, and that you're helping support a local nonprofit, multiple actually, and that you're helping support the women in the community. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say. Oh, we do sometimes take vendors. We're changing how we're doing that this year. It may change again. We've always like charged a little bit for vendors, except for a coffee truck. We've always just like partnered with a coffee truck. And I think this year we're gonna look for people that just really fit in with like what we're doing and not charge at all for our vendors. So really want to open up. Our price has always been lower than I think the other locations started out at. We kept lowering it because small business is important to us, and the only reason we really charge is like the venue rentals are a lot of money, and we just need a little bit. That's your biggest
cost, isn't it?
100%. So just to help offset that a little bit. But I think we're hopefully in a position now where we want to just give back where we can, and so we're kind of looking for like a sourdough vendor, like something that makes it feel very farmers market-y, like, and that doesn't really compete with we don't want to compete with our sellers' clothing and what they're selling. So we may not do jewelry or things that like we're already selling, but like a flower thing, always a coffee shop. Like we kind of just want to open up for some small businesses and not charge them anything. It does take time to get the whole vendor thing organized, but I think if we can do it as just like a give back and a partnership, that's something we're going to do this year. We're going to try it out and see how it works. So I'm excited about that too. Yeah, so that's new. That's a new thing that we're doing. We've always taken vendors, but we're doing it at no charge this year. So
that'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll just get to. I get why markets all cost money, but we're renting the space regardless of them being there. It's not just a market, so I feel like now that we're, it's not quite so scary to be throwing an event since it's our fourth one. We're not like, oh gosh, is anyone going to show up? Like, we're not as worried about that as we were. I think it'll just be something that we can do to hopefully help out other small businesses. So yeah, I'm excited. I think that's it. Thanks for listening to me ramble.
Alright, that concludes this episode of Behind the Business Chat. Be sure to check out the info below for more links, resources, anything that is related to this episode. And if you're able to like, comment, review this episode, I would really appreciate it. I would love to know what you think. And maybe share it with a friend that you think would enjoy it. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And comment, send me an Instagram DM, an email, anything. Just get in touch if you have any additional feedback about the show, or is there a local Chattanooga business that you would like to see on the show. Thanks for watching or listening, and I will chat again with you soon.